Welcome to Newfound Metals. I'm Richard Walcom. We just recently installed this 7x15 port window. Now I'm going to take you back right to the beginning and show you our procedure step by step. We're looking at your old port window is removed. This is where we will begin. Okay, we're going to clamp the template that you can get from Newfound Metals into place. Okay, you have it roughly clamped into place. You're going to measure to the top of your cabin side and either end to see that you're parallel to the top surface. This is a 3/8 drill bit, and we're going to drill directly through the template. Okay, next step is going to be routing out the excess material. We're removing excess material with the Ryobi laminate trimmer. Nice line. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to, Paul here on the inside is going to use the router, the laminate trimmer, and roughly bevel the inside edge so that when we put the port window in with the butyl, it'll kind of channel it in like a funnel. Alright, now we're set to counterbore all the holes. There's a pilot on the counterbore, and it's adjustable with an Allen wrench. If you don't lube that a little bit, it can get sticky inside of the hole and actually pull it out, or even break it depending how sticky the material is there. So a little silicone spray on that tip will save you a broken tip or other hassles. So Paul's going to continue counterboring here. Okay, here we have the port, the inside part of the port suspended on some dowels. We'll use those later when we put the caulking in. And we can see here that one side, the gap, is not enough for the caulking we want. We're going to use a 1-inch drum sander on a roto zip. We are going to suspend the port one more time on the dowels to ensure we have sufficient gap for the sealant. Now we're ready to dry fit the port. I'm going to put the ring in. It'll stay in. You'll have more tumble home. This is pretty much vertical out here where we're doing this. And it'll stay in. Now he's going to go inside with the port and open the port window up. He's going to reach through where the glass section is and hold the finishing ring on and place the port window and get a couple of screws started. The port is now dry fit, doesn't bind, so we are ready to tape the finishing ring and add butyl sealant to the spigot of the port. Okay, we're now going to lay the butyl on the port window. Since we are doing a flush install, I've completely covered the spigot with butyl, packed it down to 5/16 to match our gap, and feathering the front edge so that when we push it into the cutout, we don't have any peel back. You may put it only as much butyl as the thickness of your cabin side and also the thickness of the finishing ring. We are adding some butyl to the slope of the drain to bring it up to the 5/16 gap. Remember, you need a wide gap between the spigot and the cutout to ensure a great seal. Here we have the port window in place with some dowels, and we're going to now start to clamp it into place and get it set in the butyl. You notice we've got these dowels in here, and those are going to, and any round object like a drill bit to line the port window up as it goes in the hole. Alright, right here now we're going to use some clamps. We've got the dowels in place to keep it lined up, and we're going to use some clamps to pull it in and compress the butyl. Now we've squeezed it into place, and you may have to shift the clamps to make sure you're down tight on the inside. So I'll just move this clamp here and put some pressure on it, and what happens is when you squeeze this in, another clamp might loosen up. So you sometimes just got to let them do their work and they'll get it down so that you're flat. We're not quite there, but we let it sit a little bit and keep pressure on it, and it'll keep moving the butyl until we're down tight. All right, we've got it fully clamped into place, and we can see that we have some areas below the drain that aren't filled with butyl. So we're going to be able, the port window will basically stay in there by itself now, and we're going to fill in from the outside here around the gap so that we make sure that when we clamp the finishing ring on, we're also going to start compressing that butyl. You can see I'm going to fit this butyl in and then pack it in, and you can see if you stretch it and twist it like this, it'll get smaller and smaller in diameter, so you can handle it really easily and get it stretched out to what kind of diameter you want. All right, I've stretched some out here, and I'm going to make sure I push it in, so I'm going to use the paper a little bit and start pushing that material in, so I make sure I get it packed in there like that, and then I'll pack some more until I feel confident that I filled that gap that I missed when I wrapped the material. So I'm going to push that in like that using the wax paper. It goes right in like that, and we'll keep doing that until I'm confident that we have the whole gap under there packed all the way to the full length of the spigot. You can see how much this stuff stretches. Now where I tapered it, I've got a bit of a gap here, so I want to fill that in, so when the finishing ring goes on, it's going to compress it. So I can kind of stretch this out pretty thin, and I can start it into that gap right there. And as I pull and stretch it, I can actually roll it right into the gap that I left from tapering it, and stretch it at the same time, so I can kind of stretch it and get it into the gap there like that. All right, now we've got the butyl standing a bit proud of the cabin side here, and we're ready to put the finishing ring on, and we feel pretty confident that the finishing ring clamped into place is going to press that butyl in and further compress it. All right, now we're ready to seal the finishing ring. We're going to take butyl and we're going to roll it out to a smaller diameter, it comes in 3/8, and lay a bead all the way around the inner perimeter of the finishing ring. Next, we're going to take closed cell EPDM foam, also available from Newfound Metals. It's 3/8 wide and 3/16 thick, and we're going to tape it along the outside perimeter of the finishing ring. Now we have both seals, the closed cell foam and the butyl, on the finishing ring, and we're ready to install it. All right, I'm just putting the fasteners in now. I've got all the fasteners set. I'm going to take them out one at a time later and put some caulking in the fastener holes as well. But I just wanted to check, make sure we got alignment, and we do. And we have a few places where there's still some gap around the spigot, so we'll stretch out some butyl and put it in there. And now we can remove the clamps. Okay, to fill these gaps and get a nice clean and not have to clean up, is just put a lot of pressure with your thumb, and you can pull it and it'll stretch right into the gap very nicely and leave you a nice clean line. Basically, you see we didn't have a heck of a lot of cleanup here, and where I have some, I can use my fingernail to get the line back. I can just push any of the butyl in, and the next step will be to pull the fasteners out. All right, last step. We're going to pull the fasteners out one at a time, and we are going to set them with silicone sealer. So we're going to push the nozzle in the hole, pump it about half full of silicone sealer. It's enough. Take it out, put the fastener back in, screw it in, hand tight. You're done and sealed. Thanks for watching.